So the Professional Diploma in Clinical Supervision. Just to give you a bit of an overview as to where it fits into our psychotherapy and clinical supervision framework here in DCU. It's one of the three main programs that we have. We have a master's in psychotherapy, a doctorate in psychotherapy. Also, people can come in and attend some modules on the master's on a standalone basis, for instance, couples work or research modules. We also have research students, and we have a healthy living centre in DCU here as well, which is a community psychotherapy service. Just briefly mentioning about the DCU MSc, it's a 4-year level 9 part-time training program in integrative psychotherapy. And the reason I'm mentioning it here is that our professional diploma in clinical supervision students sometimes do some of their supervised practice with MSc and psychotherapy student volunteers. And we normally get a good response from our students on the master's program. I also just want to mention the DCU Doctorate in Psychotherapy before we get into the detail of the diploma. It's the only doctorate in psychotherapy in Ireland that is offered here in DCU. And there is an overlap between the professional diploma in clinical supervision and the one of the doctorate modules. So there is a supervision module on the doctorate in psychotherapy where it's shared with the professional diploma, so you'll be joining together in the one class for that module. And a useful note for if you want to do further study with DCU after the diploma is that you can apply for an exemption for this shared module when you start on the doctorate program. So, and you do an alternative non-attendance module with less requirements, which is useful to know, and some students take that route. So now to go into a bit of detail about the diploma. It's a 1-year part-time postgrad diploma, accredited by DCU, level 9 on the NFQ, and worth 30 credits. So it offers a training in the dominant models, modes, and practice of clinical supervision for helping professions of various disciplines. Most of our team are psychotherapists, but we have other professional backgrounds as well, like nursing and psychology, and we invite practitioners from different disciplines to join us on this training. And we would see it as an integrative, relational, evidence-based clinical supervisor training program. It's a robust training and very enjoyable to deliver, and for our students have normally had a very good experience on it too. So you can see some of the practitioners who we welcome on the training. I also just want to mention that the program does meet IACP and IHIP requirements for supervisor training programs. So as a university accredited program, it is accepted by those institutes. So that's for psychotherapists and counsellors where there are particular requirements around supervisor training. That's not the case for other practitioners, but we do follow those standards. How we deliver the programme, it's over 15 days in DCU through one academic year, which runs from September to April. So it's quite a short period of time. Our days in DCU are on Fridays and Saturdays, so it'll be sometimes a Friday and Saturday together, sometimes a standalone Friday and a standalone Saturday. It's very much a collaborative learning process through theoretical input from us as your lecturers, class-based discussions, looking at specialist DVDs that we've specially selected for particular learning and reflection and debate. We also have practice with your peers in the class where you get feedback from peers as well as from us as tutors. So you do 25 hours of practice. Within the 100 in-class hours, 25 of those is in practice with peers. You also have a supervision group within the class where you discuss your developing practice as a trainee supervisor. We guide you on specialist reading. You do quite a bit of study. Again, that'll all be guided. You'll be supported towards finding resources, valuable resources to read. And you also will engage in external supervision practice of 25 hours. So 25 hours with your peers in group and 25 hours externally, which you need to set up yourself. But we will explore and discuss that with you to help you consider where you can get your practice. It's fine to do your practice within your own current work setting, but you need to contract as a trainee supervisor for that practice. So we'd help you set up for that contracting. As I said earlier, there's also the option to work with our Masters in Psychotherapy students for your external practice. It's external to the class group. And then you also need to attend 5 hours. So it's a ratio of 1 to 5 5 hours practice, supervision practice, to 1 hour consultation with a supervisor on your practice. So you need to do 5 hours of that external to the training. So that's an additional cost, those 5 hours of consultation. The program structure and content. So we look at some of the dominant models on supervision. The cyclical model, the 7-eyed model would be key models, the integrated developmental model, and then we also consider humanistic, existential and psychoanalytic approaches to supervision. We look at critical issues in professional supervision practice, working with individuals, shared supervision, group supervision, different work and disciplinary contexts of supervision, when it might be private practice or within an organisation or with teams. Ethical legal issues, looking at evaluation and feedback, working with the supervision relationship, considering issues of diversity and power, and looking very much at what kind of evidence do we have out there to inform our practice. That's an important piece that we look at. And as educators and researchers here in DCU, we are engaging in current practice on supervision as well. As you see, there are 2 modules there. I won't go into much detail on that now, but they comprise the PDCS programme. What kind of work will you need to do on the PDCS? You will need to do a close analysis of your supervision practice, so a recording and transcript, and then a close analysis of that and an essay on that. We'll ask you to do a presentation in class on your developing personal philosophy of supervision. You'll be asked to do an essay critically reviewing and illustrating a particular model or an integration of models and how they're applied in practice. And also you will put together a fairly straightforward portfolio to document your practice during the training. And there's an 80% attendance requirement for those of you who are looking to meet IACP or IHIP requirements. Some of the supports that we have, we're very lucky to work in a university setting with extensive supports, as well as the program chair, which is myself. We'll have module coordinators. You'll be assigned a personal tutor if you need additional support. There's extensive resources in our library on site and online. We have an academic writing support centre, which is excellent here. We'll use our virtual learning platform, Moodle, which we call Loop. We'll use that actively. There's good IT support, good disability and learning support available, a wide range of resources which will guide you to when you're here with us. So what do you need to join us? You need a relevant undergraduate degree. This is a postgraduate diploma, level 9 diplomas. You need a level 8 qualification on our NFQ, 2 or equivalent or higher, in one of the helping or educational professions. And we also ask you to have a minimum of 4 years recent relevant professional experience as a helping professional and to join us for an interview. You apply through our application portal, which I think I have on the next slide, and there's some guidance, a link to some guidance on that as well. There is an ORPEL, a recognition of prior learning route available, where you need to evidence equivalence to level 8 academic study. You still need to have the required amount of experience, and you only submit that application after you do your online application on our on our application portal and do an interview. But we ask that you note in your personal statement, which you upload to that application portal, that you want to apply through ORPEL. So here's the link that's available to you here where you can apply. Our closing date is the 31st of May. And everybody who's eligible will be invited to meet us for a discussion and an interview about why you want to do the training and just to talk through that possibility for you. These are the things that you need to include in your application. So some of the things are academic for registry, picture of your ID, your transcripts. For us, it's really helpful to see your CV, a personal statement, relatively brief, and 2 references. And there are templates on the PDCS webpage that we ask you to use, please, and upload these as part of your application. And that's the link to the web page for the programme there. So fees, it's just under 4,000 for EU students. And as I said earlier, you pay separately for 5 hours of external supervision consultation. There are no other costs beyond that. And there's a web page again for you to get more detail. So there we go, a bit of a rapid run through the programme, but thanks for checking in. And you can see my email address there. Also, Catherine Timmins, who's the programme administrator for the diploma, her email address is there too. You're very welcome to make contact. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.